third, 3, 4 and 10. Now,
Hurdle. So they're set now as Hummer joins the line. And away they go. Now the pacemaker is Hummer at the early part of the race. Dans kicks up on the inside. Montacute up wide. Then Bart kicked up on the inside of the lot. Ultimate Conquest right behind the leaders as they stream over the first. Getting back, Westport was last and dropped off by about 4 lengths. And Tacit Approval is settled back with Mr. Easy Street in the last 2 or 3. Around the corner they come first occasion. Bart taking the pace, led a couple of lengths now from Dans in second place. Hummer out wide. Then Ultimate Conquest one out from on the inside on the river. Montacute the next one. From then Classic Spirit comes wide as they swing into the straight. Yelsid Junior next from Tacit Approval. Then followed Mr. Easy Street and Westport at the first in the straight, and over comes Bart. A couple of lengths clear from Dans in second place. Hummer still travelling out a bit. Ultimate Conquest tucked in nicely as they come to the second in the straight now. Bart with ears pricked, over he comes from Dans. They all jumped it very, very neatly, only about 15 first to last. And it's Bart on the inside of Dans, 1.5 Ultimate Conquest getting the run of the race. Hummer on its outside, then Montacute's poking up between those two with a lap to go, then followed on the river, then followed Yelsid Junior is next. Tacit Approval, one out from Mr. Easy Street, 3 out. Classic Spirit is up the rise, they go leaving the straight, and Westport and Michelle are last of all. Out by the 1,600 metres. Bart carries them along, 1.5 lengths from Dans on the outside of Ultimate Conquest. Right there, Hummer on the outside as they swing out towards the 1,500 metres. Montacute between horses on the inside on the river. Packed up field this, Yelsid Junior on its outside. Tacit Approval next with Mr. Easy Street, Classic Spirit and Westport. At the one by the 1,400 metres, Bart about a half length in front, coming to it now. Up and over they go, they stream over. Nice jump on the outside, Dance. In fact, they all jumped it well. Ultimate Conquest on the inside of Hummer, Montacute, Yelsid Junior and a bunch of horses as they stream over the next. On the river on the inside, drifted a little from then Mr. Easy Street, hasn't moved for Thornton on its outside. Tacit Approval and Finbar Leahy, they're watching one another very closely. Up on the top of the rise they go by the 1,000, 1.5 lengths back. Westport and Classic Spirit over they race. Now Dan's jumped his way to the lead from Bart in second place. Yelsid Junior's worked into third handy today, and Ultimate Conquest not letting them go. There's only a couple off them from Hummer. Then Montacute booted along from Tacit Approval on the river. Mr. Easy Street still hasn't moved. Classic Spirit with it as they race to the next one. Dan's over from Yelsid Junior. Ultimate Conquest. Hummer sprinting round on the outside. Then followed Bart giving ground on the inside. Now Tacit Approval responding with Montacute, Classic Spirit and Mr. Easy Street. Thornton makes his move now. 4 back behind them then as they come round the turn on the river, and drifting out is Westport. On the corner, 400 metres to go. Dan's led them in. Hummer on the outside. Ultimate Conquest angles one out. Out wide here now. Classic Spirits close very quickly, and in behind them, Yelsid Junior. Over the second last they come. Ultimate Conquest hit the lead. Hummer fighting back, and Dan's won't lie down on the inside. Classic Spirit out wide. Your favourite in front, Ultimate Conquest, just now from Hummer, and Dan's on the inside. They sprint for the winning post. Ultimate Conquest found some more from on the inside. Dan's look at Classic Spirit sprint out on the outside. Ultimate Conquest just in front, going to the post and got there from Classic Spirit. Game second from Dan's, then Hummer the next one home. Yelsid Junior next home. From next behind them, Tacit Approval. Mr. Easy Street didn't go on with it. Montacute got tired, then followed back behind them were on the river Westport, and Bart was one of the last home. He's lasted, but gee, got a bit of a fright. Classic Spirit came at him hard. Ultimate Conquest to get the money. It was a good old sprint for the post. He jumped the last beautifully, and then here we go. On the inside, Dance, Ultimate Conquest, Hummer in the pink colours and Classic Spirit out wide, and he got the break here and he needed it too. Ultimate Conquest heading for the post, and Jonathan Riddell at his very, very best.
All right, that's 4 in a row to Ultimate Conquest. 3, 2, 5.
She's only had the 2 starts, and 6 first up behind Polar Success. And then she won here at a Monday meeting, beating Sister Declan. Sharp resuming. She hasn't started since the 1st of Feb. She's a maiden. And Nagoya gets a half kilo off her here. So still a few to move in. There's one of them riderless. Now, one of Mario Caltabiano's Capri ran a good race at her debut here recently. Monty Express still away, so too Sports Night. Sweet Marmalade. Tumler yet to move in. Heather set away from the gates. Yubi well down the track, and the rider from Drocknock, the replacement rider here, is out of the saddle, George Gamone. Now, Slowly but surely, the balance are going in. Sports King is set. Races is in the same colours as Sir Dex, Royal Perler, etc. Sportsman. Now Yubi, who finished a very good second behind a Heather Set on a heavy track at Canterbury, is coming up. Unfortunately has a very wide draw to contend with. Heather Set, Yubi, Sweet Marmalade, and still this gear adjustment on Drocknock, who is at soon see action in the first of 8 races here at Rosehill Gardens. Rail out 3 metres. Favourite Sharp. They're off in the first of the day. Bite the Night missed it and commencing pretty well. Save Me Some. Sharp got away nicely, and so too did Sports King, followed closely by Yubi trying to work across, then Monty Express. A length to Drocknock and wider out on the track Crown Princess, and another 2 lengths coming. Capri on its inside is Nagoya, a length and a half to Bite the Night, followed closely by Sweet Marmalade, Tumbler, Heather Set, and back at the rear is All the Better. They come to the side and Sharp the leader. Save Me Some sitting at a quarters. 2 lengths away, third is Crown Princess, followed closely then at the head of the others by Sports King on the inside, Monty Express, and wider out is Yubi, and then Drocknock and Capri, followed by Nagoya, and Heather Set heads the remainder, straightening up and Sharp at the 350. A length clear on Save Me Some, followed by Yubi the outside, Sports King, the roughy Drocknock getting up on the inside, and then Heather Set on the extreme outside, or Drocknock's run out of room. Crown Princess is coming into it after Sharp, and Capri coming home well. Sharp in front, but quickly on the outside, getting the upper hand is Crown Princess, and Crown Princess got there. Sharp second, Capri third, Drocknock fourth, and the 1,000,000 to 1 pop had little luck. Then Nagoya followed by Tumbler, Heather Set, and then came All the Better, Save Me Some, Monty Express, followed home then by Bite the Night, Sweet Marmalade. Yubi dropped out, and the same can be said for Sports King.
The one.
Crown Princess at 10:40 and 3:20 has finished off too well here. Mark Connors trains this filly, My Beautiful Crown, and following up a good second recently at Canterbury, she's gone on to beat the favourite Sharp, and the roughie number 4 Capri has got third, so 6, 5 and 4 after the first there at Rosehill. Okay, now that was a value bet too. They suggested the 2 and the 6 there, so value bet getting home at 10:40 and 3:20. 16.50 the Quinella, 36.50 the Exacta, 5.86 the trifecta of 6, 5 and 4 on the first at Rosehill. Okay, they're heading to the start at Sandown. The 3-year-olds over the 1,000 going around in the first, and let's head to Alfie at Sandown. How's the weather there, Alf?
I think you were right in the first place, Chris. Number 4, Jill Sparks. A little bit of late money for it. Happy to leave it on top, as I did this morning. I thought it looked very good in the...
She's a bit of a funny horse. When she draws inside barriers, if she's got horses around her, she panics a bit and wants to go too hard. So she's got an inside barrier today, but there looks to be, if she can get a bit of cover and settle, she'll be a good chance.
Yes, I think the race will be run to suit today. Wild Rapid, race 3.
It was a really good effort last start at Flemington. The extra 200 metres will really suit her. She was really finishing off well. She's only little, so the big weight's not going to help her much.
Now you ride the Fats in race 5, may just need it. Wyndham Special's an interesting horse. 1,400 metres in the past, it struggled to get it.
Yeah, she only just got beat one day at, I think it might have been here, Reese Wheeler rode her, so I don't think it's really that much of a worry, and she's been placed on wet tracks before, so I think she's in with a good chance as well.
You also ride Inkamala, you're no stranger to him.
No, I won the same race on him last year, so we're trying to, and he won it the year before, so it's going for 3 in a row.
And looks a very good chance too. And you're riding for your sister, brace yourself.
Yeah, he's dropping back in distance today, but he should be running on hard. He likes to be given the ground as well.
Duck off and have a good look at the track.
Thanks.
This is Michelle Payne, and she's just about to walk off and have a good look at the track. She's going very well indeed with a good book of rides here at Sandown today.
Yeah, kicking off in this first event with a second elect on the tote there, Dual Spark at 4:40. The favourite just in front of is El Moxie Boy for Kieran McAvoy at 4:10. There's been support for Step Ahead and also for the 8 here, Brother Ruthless at $8.40. He looked pretty good in his only race start when he won, Brother Ruthless. And that was a...
Favourite both on the tote and with the bookmakers has continued to blowout in the market. So, as I say, is everything else, but Dual Spark perhaps has blown the least and has favouritism on course ahead of Step Ahead. It's come in for a little support Step Ahead in the last few minutes with El Moxie Boy third pick. They're just about ready to go. So on track, favouritism with Dual Spark narrowly from Step Ahead and El Moxie Boy, who's been a big drifter. Goodnick to come in, and also El Moxie Boy, and we'll have them right to go. Track rating is dead, 5.35 the penetrometer. Rail is in the true place. Very cool conditions in Melbourne. Although it's a northerly breeze, it's got a real sting to it, and it's about 11 degrees with the wind chill factor dropping it even lower than that, so not very pleasant. Now, the last to move in is Goodnick on the outside, and on Australian Hurdle and Steeplechase Day, they're all in for the nearest handicap, race 1. Track dead, rail true, set and racing. And El Moxie Boy jumped fast, and Dual Spark also began quickly. Brother Ruthless showed no pace and is settling towards the end as they go through the first bit of the race now. And driving through is Mighty Mirage to go to a slender lead. On its outside is Dan Tana, and they're followed closely in the field then by El Moxie Boy driving through on the rail, and then Bardigo. Off them is Goodnick, who's travelling wide, and then Red Cavallo not far away from the speed, and then Final Demand. Dual Spark's well back, and so is Step Ahead near the inside, and Brother Ruthless. Dan Tana is the leader coming down the dip in front of El Moxie Boy with the rail. Dual Spark 2 lengths away, and then Mighty Mirage, and now Step Ahead is working into the clear, and he's coming with a good run, followed by Final Demand. Dan Tana is the leader at the 200 to El Moxie Boy. Dual Spark, the leader's stablemate is a big danger. Step Ahead winding up, but Dan Tana's in front. He's over a length in front of Step Ahead and Dual Spark. Dan Tana's holding on near the line, too good. Dan Tana beats Step Ahead by a length. Dual Spark a neck away third, and they were followed El Moxie Boy. Brother Ruthless made some ground from the tail, and Final Demand next, followed by Mighty Mirage, and back behind them were Goodnick. Second last to go over the line here is Red Cavallo, and Bardigo has again put a poor one in and has finished distant last. Well, with 61 on a rain-affected track, a big performance from Dan Tana to win the race. Second to Step Ahead, so it's a stable quinetta for Rick Horlacy, and third to number 4, Dual Spark, ridden by Michelle Payne. 1, 2 and 4 official in the first on the card, the nearest handicap. Dan Tana first, Step Ahead second, and Dual Spark in third place. Well, the quality shining through, and particularly coming back to 1,000 metres, that's definitely been in Dan Tana's favour. He won 3 starts ago in listed company at Cheltenham, beating Super Groove. His next 2 starts have been in 1,200 metre races, and I think he is a lot better suited. Even though he's won a couple of 1,200s, I think he's able to sustain his pace a bit better at this sort of trip. And with 61, that's a fine effort in scoring. Step Ahead got a long way back, certainly made plenty of ground. Dual Spark raced handily, battled. Fourth home, number 5, El Moxie Boy. And fifth was number 7, Final Demand, and they've run 57.6 seconds. Take dividends, 1 Dan Tana 10.70 and 3.50. 2 Step Ahead $1.90 and 4 Dual Spark $1.50. Quinella 14.30, Exacta 44.10, and the trifecta $122 even on 1, 2 and 4. So pretty.
The 6 Crown Princess Grant Buckley beat 5 Sharp, 4 Capri, and 15 Drock Knock ran 4th. Now only beach sprints to move in the majestically colours. 2:30 now for number 1 Lespalia, and 3:30 for John Ron as beach sprint takes up its posse, and we're set ready to see them go. 1,400 metres, second race of the day here at Rosehill Gardens. And they're off this time. They jumped in a nice even manner. Immediately Tableau goes to the back, and Dahara leads narrowly from Lespalia. John Ron's right there, and so too is Hurricane Lou as they settle, followed by Zep Manu, Natural Banker, and then at the head of the others, Lookout trapped out pretty wide, a couple to Tableau, Insouciance, and 2.5 to Beach Sprint. Working along towards the 1,000 metres, Huey Bowman goes to the lead on the favourite Lespalia, goes by the 1,000, leading a length or so, and Hurricane Lou 2 lengths to Dahara. 3/4 John Ron the Dahara, then Zep Manu. Look out at its quarters on the outside, followed by Natural Banker, Tabler, Insouciance. And as they string out, last of all is Beach Sprint. 700 ahead of them now as they come onto the side, and Lespalia leads 3/4 of a length on Hurricane Lou. About 3.5 then to John Ron on the outside of Dahara. Look out next, Zep Manu on its inside from Tabler. Then Natural Banker, Insouciance next to last, and 4 lengths to Beach Sprint. This is the order as they work around the home corner, and it's going to be Lespalia first into the stretch. 1.5 to 2 lengths Hurricane Lou at a similar margin to John Ron, and then Dahara followed by Look Out and Zep Manu. Lespalia. Bowman goes for the Persuader, gave it a couple of hard cracks. Lespalia well clear. John Ron followed by Dahara, Look Out, and then Hurricane Lou, but Lespalia is home and hosed today. A deserved win after so many seconds and so many thirds, and Lespalia wins it well from Dahara and John Ron. Then Look Out followed by Insouciance, Natural Banker, Tabler, then Zep Manu, Hurricane Lou, and Beach Sprint trailed them down to the post. Number 1, the winner, Lespalia, ridden by Huey Bowman. Lespalia, 2 seconds, 4 thirds, and finally deserved a win and trounced them today by Masquet from the Danehill mare Pretty Buttons, trained by Gay Waterhouse for Mrs. Yvonne Smith, and Huey Bowman, a winner at his first ride back in the metropolitan area since his break. Standing by for the numbers to come up. Dahara ran a nice race. She's a lovely Danehill filly, trained by Ronnie Quinton for the Winyara stud, Mitchell Bellroder. And she'll win a race or two shortly, that's for sure and certain. But we're standing by for all numbers to come up. We have to be a little patient here in Sydney with numbers. They're not as speedy as they are in most other areas of Australia. Here they come now. 1, 4, 2 and 5. Number 1, Lespalia, Hugh Bowman first. Number 4, Dahara, ridden by Mitchell Bell, is second. John Ron, number 2, ridden by Glenn Bosch, third. Gelding by Generous, Max Lees, and number 5 was the official fourth for the pick 4, Look Out. Time was 1 minute 25:35. Class record is 1:24:69 to Warrior Trader, 35:27 the sectional time. And Lespalia on the official tote board paid $2.30 at $1.04, $2.30 104. Number 4 $5.90, number 2 $1.30. Quinella $33.50. Exacta $94.40. Trifecta $163. The first 4 paid $1,313.10. The spinner on the mixed 1 into 4 $1.70, and we're waiting on the margins. John Ron battled on fairly. Dahara, I think as far as those behind the winner, Dahara certainly looks as though she's a nice filly in the making, and John Ron, he will ultimately turn out a nice horse. I think as a 3-year-old he's going to really come to the fore. Margins, here they are, 1 3/4 both ways. You've got the time details after race 2 at Rosehill.
All right, thanks, Ian. Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Look, I'm going to stick with number 2, Sale of Century. Thought he looked okay. Obviously a lot lighter when he was racing in group races, but over this sort of journey, I just think it's a drop in class for him. These horses are having to improve, I think, to beat him today. I thought he looked...
Little Sale of Century favourite as we go to Greg now for race 2.
On track, there's not much between Sale of Century and Amalfi Interest. Sale of Century a little on the easy side, and support has come for Amalfi Interest. There's Fra Magic unbeaten going in. Sale of Century lines up for Craig Durden. Craig is a 3 times winner of this race, as is Adrian Garraway. He's on Liston. That's Millennium Dancer and the Lime Cutters locked away. Willie Harnett yet to win the race, but he's been placed 5 times. Jim Houlihan represented with the Builder and Amalfi Interest. He's won it 7 times, no less. Jim won this race for the first time in 1980 and continued to dominate right through the 1990s. And he won it 2 years ago as well with Classic Prince. 7 wins in the race. On track, we now have equal favourites, Sale of Century and Amalfi Interest. Amalfi Interest, Jonathan Bowles on board, and the stablemate, the Builder, each aiming to give Jim Houlihan an 8th victory in the race. They line into the stalls together. The Australian hurdle, 3,500 metres, is underway. Sale of Century the slowest to move, and the Builder was the first out from Millennium Dancer, Super Cobra, Top Carla and Pedersen on the inside as they meet the first of 10. They're trailed by Fra Magic, and then towards the end of the field is Sale of Century, although he's going forward. And they're followed as they go by the 1,200 to Amalfi Interest, and Liston is about 3rd last. Not a lot of pace about, and they come towards the second, and it's the Builder over on the outside with Millennium Dancer sharing the lead from Super Cobra, Sail of Century deep out, and Patterson is fifth on the inside, followed by the grey Super Carla. Fra Magic is third last, being trailed by Liston, and Amalfi Interest is three deep and last of all. But only about 7 lengths would cover them, and they're hacking down the side the first time round, and the Builder is the leader. He's out by about a length here now to Sail of Century, who comfortably strode up into second placing after being a little slow out of the barriers, and they are really walking up towards the turn. Millennium Dancer is running third on the inside, and Super Cobra fourth. They're trailed by Patterson, who's over on the inside from Top Carla, and then Fra Magic. Amalfi Interest is out 3 wide, and Liston is last of all as they've entered the straight the first time round. A treble down the home running, and Sail of Century outside the Builder with the lead on the rails. Millennium Dancer 2.5 lengths away in third, and there followed Super Cobra. Patterson at the inside as they step over this one. Back behind these horses in the field is the grey Top Carla, Liston, Amalfi Interest and Fra Magic over on the inside. The Builder and Sail of Century jump it pretty well on level terms there, and they've put a bit of pace into the race down the straight. They've opened up a gap with a lap to go of about 8 lengths away to Millennium Dancer. Amalfi Interest steadily making some ground on the outside as they go to the 5th hurdle. Trailed by Super Cobra, his inside, and then Patterson, Top Carla, Fra Magic and Liston back last of all. These two get away with a good lead out towards the 1800 metre mark. Half the jumping completed, and the Builder on the inside and Sail of Century by 8 Millennium Dancer. In 4th placing Super Cobra, Amalfi Interest outside Patterson, 1 Top Carla, Fra Magic and 3 to Liston. Into the back they go. They've nearly done a circuit out towards the 1600 metres. Sail of Century by neck to the Builder, and still about 8 lengths Millennium Dancer. Amalfi Interest out wide, and they're trailed by Super Cobra and Patterson on the inside as they go to the first of 3 down the back straight. Fra Magic, Top Carla are next, and Liston is last of all. 1400 left to go, and the next hurdle coming up in their sight. Sail of Century by ahead to the Builder on the inside of him, still about 6 lengths away in 3rd placing Millennium Dancer. Amalfi Interest 3 deep virtually all of the way, and Super Cobra the centre. Then Patterson followed by Fra Magic, Top Carla and 3 to Liston. Over the next one they go. The Builder on the inside, Sail of Century the outside. They're the 2 leaders by only about 3 lengths now. Amalfi Interest getting up into 3rd, outside Super Cobra, Millennium Dancer the fence, then Top Carla, Fra Magic as they come off the back. The stablemates towards the end now. It's Liston going up past Patterson. At the 800 metres, still these two share the front. The Builder the inside, Sail of Century the outside. They've gone hammer and tong all of the way, and they lead by 3 to Millennium Dancer, getting another move on around Amalfi Interest, and they've dropped off dropped off at the head of the others there. Fra Magic, who's starting to make some ground, and Super Cobra's beaten, and then Top Carla into the straight, and it's the Builder kicking strongly on the inside. Sail of Century, and here's Amalfi Interest coming with his run, clear from Millennium Dancer. 2 to get over now. Amalfi Interest on the outside of Sail of Century and the Builder. Oh, they flattened it with Millennium Dancer in 4th placing. It's Amalfi Interest, Sail of Century. The Builder can't go on. 1 to get over, and Jim Houlihan's going for his 8th Australian, and Amalfi Interest takes the lead. Check Sail of Century running on Millennium Dancer, but Amalfi Interest breaks clear, and it's another one for Gentleman Jim. Amalfi Interest wins it by 2.5. Millennium Dancer grabs second. Another placing for Willie. Sail of Century ahead away 3rd, and then the Builder, Fra Magic, followed behind these by Super Cobra. Long break to Top Carla, and the stablemates finish at the end of the field there. Liston back in company with Palisette. Amalfi Interest, written by Jonathan Bowles, his first feature, and for 90-year-old Jim Houlihan, it's an 8th Australian hurdle victory. Number 3, Amalfi Interest, Jonathan Bowles and Jim Houlihan first. 2nd placing, number 6, Millennium Dancer, written by Willie Harnett, who's now been placed 6 times without winning this Australian hurdle. And 3rd, number 2, Sail of Century, written by 3 times winner Craig Durden.
All right, thanks, Greg. Yeah, it was a very good performance, wasn't it? And Jim Houlihan, what a legend he is. 362, 4th number there we'll get in a sec. But a very good win to number 3, Amalfi Interest. 9 was 4th, and that was the Builder. So we'll have that first 4 shortly. Now at Victoria Park, that protest was dismissed and the placing stood. 10, 2, 4 and 11, and that first 4, 1,026.20. Winner returning there at Sandown. There's those divs confirmed again at Victoria Park. Now, correct weight at Rosehill as well, with the winner there, Ellerslie and Huey Bowman, over Dahara and John Rum, 35.50, 94.40, 163, the trifecta of 142, and that first 4, 1, 4, 2 and 5, 1,313.10. Now, Doomben.
And away they go. Sail of Century last out of the stalls. The Builder jumped away well, so too Millennium Dancer, and Super Cobra up towards the lead. All over the first flight safely. Top Carla travelled up into fourth, followed by Palisand. A length away, Sail of Century, followed by Liston, Amalfi Interest, and last on the inside is Fra Magic. Only about 5 lengths would cover the field early. Second flight coming up. It's on the outside, the Builder just shading Millennium Dancer. Super Cobra third, followed by Sail of Century travelling up on the outside to be fourth. Then Palisand back on the inside, followed by Top Carla. Third last on the inside is Fra Magic, followed by Liston. And last on the outside is Amalfi Interest as they work down the side in the first round. And now about 6 lengths would cover the field. And in front is the Builder racing off the fence by a length. Sail of Century worked up into second on the outside of Millennium Dancer, followed by Super Cobra. Then Palisand fifth, 3/4 away Top Carla, a length and a half to Fra Magic. Amalfi Interest second last on the outside, and Liston back in the centre is last on the corner at the top of the straight the first time. And Sail of Century on the outside works up within 3/4 of the leader, which is the Builder. A length and a half away third is Millennium Dancer, 2.5 away Top Carla, out 3 wide around Super Cobra. Palisand back on the inside. Here's the first of 3 now in the straight. It's Sail of Century on the outside of the Builder, matching strides. Now third last on the outside is Top Carla, followed by Fra Magic. In the centre, Liston and Amalfi Interest. Past the one in front of the stand, and on the outside it's Sail of Century just shading the Builder as they pass the post now with a round to go. It's Sail of Century on the outside shading the Builder. Here's the last of 3 in the straight. Sail of Century jumped it well, a half in front of the Builder. They're starting to break away now. The pair about 8 lengths in front of Millennium Dancer, followed by Amalfi Interest going forward now around the outside of Super Cobra. Palisand back on the inside, then Fra Magic, followed by Top Carla, and Liston is some 3 lengths away last. This pair up in front having a very good duel at the 1700 metre turn. It's Sail of Century on the outside of the Builder. They're still 8 lengths in front of Millennium Dancer, followed by Super Cobra. Palisand back on the inside. Amalfi Interest 3 wide, 2 lengths away Fra Magic, followed by Top Carla, and Liston some 3 away last. Over the next flight, Sail of Century put in a mighty leap back to where they started from at the 1400 metres. Still Sail of Century on the outside, narrowly in front of the Builder. They're still 6 lengths in front of Amalfi Interest into third. Over the next flight, followed by Super Cobra. Millennium Dancer back on the rail, followed by Palisand. Then Fra Magic in the centre, making ground, followed by Top Carla, and Liston some 3 away last. Climbing the hill now towards the 1,000 metres. It's Sail of Century on the outside, and the Builder. Haven't they had a real good duel? They're 4 lengths in front. Out of the pack now is Amalfi Interest travelling up into third, followed by Super Cobra. Millennium Dancer lost his spot for a stride. Fra Magic in the centre's gone past him, followed by Top Carla, and 2.5 away Palisand, and also Liston up towards the turn in the hurdle, down towards the 700 metres. It's still Sail of Century on the outside of the Builder. They're 4 in front of Millennium Dancer, now getting a wriggle on the outside of Amalfi Interest. Then 4 lengths away, Super Cobra. He's won his race. Fra Magic continues to make ground.